Hey, you guys, I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Today, again, I wanted to continue on with my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is, as you guys could see there, Muckman and Joe Eyeball. Again, this is part of some figures I got over the holidays. They were on sale in a couple of places. I think specifically this one was around 31 or $32. So I'd figure for that price, I would definitely bite. Again, this is the standard cardboard container that all these figures come in. Sorry about that. And then right here is the actual packaging. Again, awesome job by whoever's designing these things. I love the simplicity, but then I also love the logo here with Muckman's face, and there's the name of the character. Back here, again, the awesome Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles logo. And then as we lift this up here, again, a bit of more green, a bit of a brief the story on Muckman and Joe Eyeball, the garbage gathering ghoul and his parasitic pal. I was actually really looking forward to this figure. I had the original when I was much younger when this came out, and I loved it. And again, looking at this thing, and this is, I think, the same thing with recently I opened up Bebop, and I thought that was huge. This is humongous. I mean, the you see how thick that box is? That's awesome. So I think first impressions, right from looking at and still in packaging, is very positive. I'll get this open and sort of go through the steps with this. But the other thing I did want to mention is that if you do keep your action figures in box unopened, this is a perfect packaging for it. I mean, you could technically just take this slip on, either take the slip case off, and there you have the product nicely displayed. So I will say that is a great job by whoever's designing this packaging. So let's get to the figure and we'll see how it shakes out. Hey guys, awesome. So finally took Muckman here and Joe Eyeball out of the box. I must say I'm really happy with the way this guy looks. Again, continuing the trend with these Super 7 figures. It's the size. I just love how humongous these figures are. It's ridiculous. They look great. As far as accessories, surprisingly enough, he doesn't come with much. You don't get the standard weapon rack that you get with the other ones. I seem to recall that the older one, the Playmates version, didn't either. But you do get extra pair of very gross looking hands, which is very fitting for the character. And if you notice, at least mine, one comes without this section here. And this one comes with it kind of already molded in place, so you can't sort of take this out. But the hands, I mean, these are awesome. Remind me of like very zombie, like Toxic Crusader type hands, and I love that. I think the muckiness, the green, I think great job again there. See a little warm, the worm coming out of the the arm there. It's pretty gross but cool at the same time. So you get these extra pair of hands in addition to the ones that he already has on there. You also do get his awesome weapon rocket launcher, which is essentially, I believe it was to be a bunch of like a bottle and a bunch of like soda cans, all tied together with some metal. And again, you could see some bugs there, the green ooze, more bugs. I believe the older one was also like this as well, so they kind of just took that and upsized it. But I'm glad that they did, because this kind of fits very well in place with the character. Like the size wise, it scales well with him. So again, kudos on this weapon. And I guess I don't really count Joe Eyeball as an accessory, but you could. Um, but part of that is this awesome garbage can that you get back here that you have to attach on the back. For some reason, mine was a little hard to get in there, so it took a bit of force. But once I got it in, I got it in. I don't have to. I'm not gonna try and take it out. But you guys could see the details there on the can. You got on the garbage can, you got a couple of cans. You got the fish bones. You got a pizza, slice of pizza, and you got the nicely painted in this gooey green, I'm assuming mutagen or ooze. So that's really cool. As far as the Joe Eyeball figure, He is not articulated. He's kind of just one solid piece. The head, on mine at least slightly, seems like it would. It's on a ball joint, but it's very, very stiff. So I'd rather not force it and break anything. I won't be posting this specific guy too much. He's gonna go inside the garbage can. But again, I think it's well done. There, I love the eyeballs with the antenna. It's really cool. Not a lot of paint apps, but I think what's there detail wise is well done. And he can mainly, he's meant to go in the trash can sort of facing this way. He kind of fits in really well like that. You guys can see, I tend to place him facing forward. And once you do that, he doesn't go all the way in, so I wouldn't force it. But I think still it looks cool. So I do like this Joe Eyeball. I think it's a cool accessory or extra figure, however you want to look at it. Now, as far as the main figure itself, let's get the bad thing out of the way first. And again, what is a running theme with these Super 7 figures, or at least some of the ones, or most of the ones that I have, at least the enemies, the bad guys, is these loose joints. This leg right here is a little loose, so it makes it hard when you want to try and sort of stand him up correctly, especially for such a big figure that's either, he's very meaty, very heavy. So I would have liked the joints to at least be a little tighter. The leg here is fine. This one's fine, and the knee joints are also okay. But at least on my copy, this leg I think it's a little looser than I would have preferred. So that's my only complaint. I guess a bit of a nitpick would be that I seem to recall the original Playmates figure came with some green ooze that you can use to pour, I believe, on his head and I think maybe on his back, and the ooze would come out. Now I don't have a need for that anymore. I've kind of think I've outgrown that ooze part. I wouldn't have used it. But I guess it would have been cool to include that just as a nostalgia type thing. I don't mind it too much. The cool thing is that they left the section here on his head. I remember the old toy, you could actually open this, and this is where the goo would go in, and it would come out of his mouth and stuff. Or maybe through his chest. One of those. But anyway, so that's kind of cool. They left that little detail there, homage to the old toy. As far as the figure itself, again, the size is just awesome to be able to have a figure like this and just hold it in hand. It feels very good in hand, and the paint again I know they're just basing these on the old Playmates figures, but they've done such an awesome job, I think, with the paint. You guys can see the head there is very on point, very gross looking. You got a little details like the bugs and stuff, the banana peel. Going around here on the right arm, you got a soda can. You have all these bugs and all these pimples and green ooze. Here, a worm. And then here on the left hand, you got a flower, some mushrooms. You got his bones showing. Again, I guess this is a worm, so some pretty gruesome looking stuff. Which amazingly enough, it looks great. You got his, I guess, is part of his suit, who he used to be as a teddy bear. Some flowers. There's a little hole that you could see through there on his stomach or his bottom portion there. Spider. So again, I love that they've managed to incorporate and keep all these details. This is a milk carton. Again, I remember his foot used to be like covered by a garbage can, which they've kept here. The fish, and there's a frog, and it looks really, really cool. A soda bottle, pizza, and of course, his left leg is essentially a manhole cover. So that's really cool. Here's what it looks like from the back, and again, really happy with all these little details. The apple core, the bone. I do like it. There's another apple core here. So essentially garbage all over him. This is what it looks like. Inside the garbage can is just plain, which I don't mind. And here's a top look. The back here. He's hunched over essentially. The other cool thing is you can pose this guy, right? He's got a lot of joints here on the elbows, the shoulders, the elbows, the hands as well are articulated. So that's really cool. He doesn't really have waist articulation. At least mine doesn't. So I'm not going to risk moving it. As I said, I wish these leg joints were a little more stiffer just because it'll do better in holding the figure in place. It's not, this was not so bad. I think the most egregious one that I've had was Leatherhead. This one's nothing like that one. But it's cool that, you know, again, we get all these extra joints as options. And I love the ankle pivot here that they've added, and they've done the same thing here. Initially, when I was looking at getting these figures, I was a bit iffy because I didn't want to just get the same figure with no extra articulation. And in this case, I love the fact that you could pose these guys a little more than you could the original figures. So other than the loose, kind of loose joint there, it is bothering me a bit. I will say that I am thrilled to have this guy in the collection. I think he looks awesome. You know, so before we close, some quick comparisons there. Here he is next to Mutagen Man here on his left. So you guys can see I have this guy sort of standing on an A pose. And here he is next to Donnie. You guys can see this is like a hulking type figure. So that's awesome. So we'll move Mutagen Man off to the side. Here he is next to Playmates Raph. So you guys can see how humongous this figure is. The original was obviously bigger than the Turtles. But this thing is just, it's awesome. It's amazing how big this figure is. We'll move Donnie out of the way. Here is next to Mikey Bandai. So I think that scale works really well. So we have that. Then let's compare him up to, here is next to Leatherhead. So you guys could see him if he doesn't topple over. And here he is next to Metalhead there. And as I mentioned, loose joint wise, this is probably one of the worst offenders in this line, or at least the ones that I have, followed by this guy here. You know, and again, the figures themselves are great. It just sucks that I really wish they would have done a little better with the joints. So we'll move them out of the way. And then here he is next to Slash, another one of my favorites, just because of how humongous these figures are. So there he is next to Slash, and then here is Bebop. So you guys can see him there. They're gonna pull back a little because of how huge these guys are. He's very similar in size, I guess, to Bebop there. And then lastly, here he is next to Rocksteady. But overall, guys, even with the loose joint, the loose left leg, for me, I really do think this is a worthwhile figure. The size, I like the simplicity of it, the weapon they included, and just the 2 extra hands. I think that's awesome. Definitely the Joe Ibo figure, I think, again, just upsizing the older figures. They've done, I think, an amazing job here. Again, just the joints is sort of what bugs me about these figures, at least the loose joints anyway. But anyway, I hope you got something out of the video. If you have sort of any questions, feel free to leave a comment. Maybe watch one of my other videos, you know. But thank you so much for spending your very valuable time with me. You know, take care of yourself, be nice to yourself, be nice to each other, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.